Mini episode 1545 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You'll want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to FDH Lounge mini episode 1545. This is FDH Managing Partner Rick Morris here. And we have something that we did a couple of years back. I believe we've done a World Cup draft every year since 2010, but we have four of the same five competitors that we did for the 2018 one. I come back, thankfully, as the defending champion of it. So looking to defend my title against four of the same five participants. Let's start with the guys that we have on the phone line. They are two longtime FDH Lounge dignitaries, friends of mine going back to the Sports Talk Network days, and they specifically are bringing back the show that they were doing at the Sports Talk Network. More to come on that, but the Unheard Scene, the great unsigned bands showcase program that they had then, that will be coming back in 2023, so congratulations on having a comeback. I'll start with you, Anthony. Good to have you back on for this one.
It's great to be back, and thanks for the congratulations. It's been a lot of work, but it's coming back.
And I look forward to being a part of it and seeing this play out, and this is going to be tremendous to have happen. And let's talk about also the other executive producer and other host previously of the Unheard Scene, my good friend Matt Petrone. How you doing, Matty?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm excited about our show coming back. It's going to be a lot of work, and I can't thank the people that are around us enough to push us to come back, so that's why we're doing it. We are going to look for help, and it should be fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to give the people what they want, and it'll be great to have the Unheard Scene coming back, and like I said, I look forward to participating as before. Yeah, well, it's going to be a great team effort, and, you guys are doing what we're doing here with this show. If you get a cast of thousands out there, it's a little bit easier. You can spread out more stuff to more people. It's a good model to use, and I think it's going to work very well for you. So here with our World Cup draft that we are doing, we have up on the main page at fantasydrafthelp.com. You can go click it, the 2022 FDH World Cup preview. We have a draft board on there as well as a set of suggested league guidelines, and then also predictions for the World Cup. So we have all of that there. You can go check that out. And what we have here in terms of our draft order, we did a poll for position here from the good old ping pong ball hopper, and counting back from 5 to 1, Anthony Petrone picking 5th. So in our 5-round draft, he is going to be going back-to-back on the first and second round picks and third and fourth round picks. Thoughts on the position, Anthony?
I'm saying lucky dog. I've had a discussion with Matt about this morning, and I think I'm going to be stinking him.
Really? Okay. Well,
That's why I'm saying lucky dog, because when you get to pick back-to-back like that.
Yeah, I'd rather be you than me, Anthony, because spoiler alert, I'm picking first, but I got to wait till the 10th pick for number 2. And
Exactly. That's where I'm looking. I get 2 top teams in this one.
Yeah, right. And there's not a lot of separation. It's not even like, there's a clear favorite, so it's good for me to be at 1. I'm looking at this like I'm in the worst spot. I'm 1 in between. Jason Jones, our senior editor, I have a list for him. He is picking 4th, picking 3rd, returning from last time as well. My nephew, Fletcher Morris, our guest selector, he was the runner-up last time. It took until the World Cup Championship game for me to deny the young man a title. The second spot, Matt Petrone. Yeah. Well, you got to be able to spike the ball on them literally and figuratively when they're younger, right? That's half the fun of it. And,
take advantage while you can.
Yeah. Well, he's getting to the point where it would be more and more difficult to spike a ball on him literally. But At this point in the second spot, Matt Petrone, I, Rick Morris, in the first spot. So you and I somewhat in the same kind of boat, Matt, that we're going to get theoretically one of the top teams here. But again, not a lot of separation at the top, and we're going to be waiting for pick number 2.
And it's going to be nail biting, I think, because Anthony just said he might snake me. I shouldn't have told him what my...
You have a way of doing this. I love it. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, the key, Matt, free advice. Listen to that voice ahead of time.
Right.
But, well, I don't know if you're going to get snaked with the pick here, but you guys know the direction I'm going in because I never deviate from the FDH draft board. Number 1 on the aforementioned draft board is Argentina. That's who I'm bringing home, looking for Messi to get it done. Interestingly, though, when you're looking at the recent history of the World Cup, Europe has the last 4 World Cups, 5 of the last 6. So Argentina would be going against recent history here to be able to win it. But I am looking for that to happen with Messi's swan song. I have them as a narrow number 1, Matt.
It is a solid pick because Messi's going to be giving it all because this is it for him.
Absolutely. It is going to be it, and you can expect the best effort. No question about it. So you getting the pick that you want number 1, or was Argentina number 1 on your board?
It was not number 1 on my board.
Okay. All righty. So you're getting your number 1 pick then. All right.
No, Argentina was not. I thought about that, and I had talked to a bunch of friends and everything. I've got a friend at work that his name is Kurt, but he is a big-time soccer fan. He watches all these games everywhere. That's all he does. He sits at his machine at work and watches soccer.
Well, now that you've outed him for that.
You know what do you think? Since you're not going to be a part of this, let me lean on you. And he says, I think Brazil is going to come out with this. So for my pick, I'm picking Brazil.
Yeah, and that's one where I believe you probably snaked my nephew here on this one here. I don't think he's going to be happy. I think he would have gone with Brazil. Instead, on his list, he has Germany, who we have number 2. He's going to go in that spot there, and that is the first tier of the FDH draft board that is gone at this point. Germany goes in the 3rd spot. Jason Jones, picking 4th, is going to go with a team that has had a good amount of success in the 21st century, that being France. So they go in that spot.
That was another thing the guys at work were telling me, and another friend, they said, okay, France and Germany both have a lot of injuries that they have to think about.
Yeah, that is going to be an issue, and is that it seems like there's a decent amount of parity among the top teams, right? I mean, you could make a case for and a case against any number of these teams.
Right.
And the injuries, I think, are the case against, as you're talking about, for Germany and France. This brings it to you, Anthony. You're getting 2 of the top 6 overall, and maybe on your board better than that if you didn't have any of these countries on your board listed higher.
So I'm looking at the FIFA World Men's Rankings.
Okay.
Currently. And I'm going to go with number 2 on the FIFA Men's World Rankings. It's a little lower on your board, but researching a little bit while snaking my brother, I'm going to go with Belgium.
Come on!
Okay. All right.
Man.
All right. Belgium, and they're actually 10 on our board. What are some of the things you like about Belgium?
I like the fact that they have a very strong defense.
Okay.
And it's going to be rough to get past them. Mm-hmm. Basically, on their defense.
That was the reason I wanted them. Their defense is so strong, and Belgium has been. Look how far they've knocked the last couple of World Cups. They've been in it. They're about due, and their defense is going to hold it. And they just needed a couple of players to score, and they're getting there. And I think they have a chance this time. That would have been where Anthony snaked me.
They are currently ranked at number 2 in the FIFA World Rankings.
There is a case to be made that defense might be a little bit more of a prevalent kind of issue this time around because at 28 days, this is the most compact World Cup since 1978. Now, part of the reason they're able to do it more compact is because in Qatar, everything is closer to one another. It is the first World Cup since the first one in 1930 in Uruguay where nobody's going to have to fly from location to location. So right. Everybody is going to be in a pretty central location and then kind of drive out in whatever direction to get from here to there. That allows them to play quicker, but that's a thing where also, too, you might see some of these more defensive type games. If that is the case, the brutality of the schedule, everything being stacked up on one another, and that would seem to be something that would play into your hands.
There's not as much rest time.
Right. There's not going to be. And, that could play into a very defensive club like Belgium. So, all right, an interesting first pick here. You're up again, Anthony.
All right, and I'm going to go with the number 5 team on your board, the Netherlands.
Netherlands, okay.
They are a good, going completely on the opposite spectrum. They are a strong offensive team.
This is one of these things where, in fantasy football, I talk about this with a lot of my friends here, bemoaning about how we can't trade guys from our one team to our other team. If only you could trade Netherlands' offense to Belgium and pair it with their defense, Anthony, you might go undefeated.
It would make the best team in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Probably would.
Well, the system doesn't allow for that, but yeah, that's so stylistically from one end of the spectrum to the other. That is very interesting. And 2 teams from Northern Europe for you, 2 teams from Western Europe for Jason, as his second pick is going to be Spain. And for Fletcher, this is going to be very interesting. That his pick is going to be one of the most cursed teams historically, but a team that is always a contender, England. And they have a lot of question marks this time around. They have a lot of question marks, but again, they're always a dangerous team, aren't they?
They are. You cannot ever push out England.
Yeah.
You just can't. One of the biggest 2 leagues in the world is the English Premier League.
Right.
Right in their country.
Right.
So...
And they have a decent number of native players in that. Of course, they do have some of the best from all over the world. But yeah, there are a lot of people from right there in the UK playing in that league, no question.
Right.
And in looking at this, by the way, structurally here, with the 32 teams, we are drafting 25 here today in this draft. And don't know if we'll make any tweaks to this next time around or not. But this is the last World Cup at 32 teams. It's going to 64, or I'm sorry, not 64, 48 next time.
Yeah.
When it comes to North America.
64 is a lot.
Yeah, 64 would be overkill. 48 when it comes to North America in 2026. And it's funny, I was looking at that when they announced the list of cities, thinking about you guys. I was like, they might be able to go to Cincinnati, Columbus, whatever. Nope! There is like nothing that is right
Not
here.
even close.
Yeah, in our part of the country,
That tells me that they don't try to go to Columbus because of the new stadium that the Crew has.
Yeah, although they seem to prize capacity over anything else for this, but then again, you have Ohio Stadium right there, and they lease it out for different things here. So if the thing of it is you want a place that can seat 100,000, you happen to have one there also. It's one of the best soccer markets in this country. So I felt bad for you guys because I was thinking
I will say I am honored and privileged to have been to a World Cup game.
Have you been? Okay.
The last time the World Cup was in the United States was the first time.
Okay.
And we did play at Ford Field in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
And I was honored and privileged that my mom and dad bought 4 tickets, and we took my cousin and went.
Actually,
I was able to see Romania play Croatia.
Okay.
And it was unlike anything I've ever seen in my life.
I can imagine. But by the way, unless they also purchased a time machine, because I believe Ford Field came in the early 2000s, that was the Silverdome, right?
Probably. Okay. I don't know. I cannot keep up with Detroit stadiums. I apologize.
That's true. All righty. Well, you're up, Matt. You and I have had to wait a good long period of time to make our second picks. We won't have to wait nearly as long to make our third picks. Hopefully there's enough left over here for us. What are you looking at?
Yep, we got Argentina gone, Germany gone, Brazil gone, Netherlands gone, Spain gone, England gone, right?
Yeah.
Belgium gone.
Yeah. I mean, no real surprises at this point.
I think I'm going to go with Portugal.
Okay. Well, you snaked me on that one here. The end of the FDH second tier.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. He's also one getting older, and I was talking to, like I said, my buddy at work. I said, Cristiano Ronaldo is good, but that one was a kind of I don't know. I like him, but he's not the only player on the team. Then the rest of the team has to step up.
Okay. Well,
So
yeah.
I'm nervous on that one,
Well,
and I'm kind of surprised I took him that quick. But because of him, I took him that quick.
okay. Well, in a spot
He
here
did
where,
rally his troops.
right, in a spot where a lot of people thus far have paired up their teams geographically in an interesting way. Anthony with Belgium and the Netherlands, Jason with France and Spain, Fletcher with the World War II main event enemies of Germany and England. I'm going to follow in the footsteps here of near geographic things here. My pick is going to be Uruguay to pair with Argentina.
Uruguay!
Yes, yes.
Uruguay?
The first winners of the World Cup in 1930, and one of, I believe, one of the few countries that has captured more than one World Cup. Yes, they've captured two, the other one being in 1950. So, unfortunately, I get the sense, guys, there might be not anybody from the 1930 or 1950 guys left on this team here. So, yeah.
Just feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I might not be able to get the benefit of that championship experience in the clubhouse, but nevertheless, they are perennial power. I'm going to go with them, and I'm going to deviate here geographically here with my next pick and go with Denmark for my pick to lead off the third round, thus bringing it back around to you, Matthew.
You know, I think I'm gonna USA.
All right.
Why not? I
Might as
mean,
well.
And I'm proud.
They have a strong team.
American. I know I'm free.
They've been getting the MLS players that are in the league now, and they've been learning from it. And then the MLS has been sending American players overseas to learn, and I think US might have a chance, and they might shock everybody.
He's only just happy because he's met a guy on the team.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Good old DeAndre Yedlin from Akron News.
Okay. Well, personal connections mean a lot. He made a personal connection for his pick last time in the World Cup draft. We'll probably talk about that a little later on. But by the way, here for our scoring system, all you got to basically do to start getting points is make it to the round of 16. You get 3 points when your team makes it there. You get an additional 5 points if your team qualifies for the quarterfinals. 7 if it moves, another 7 if it moves on to the semifinals. An additional 10 if you move on to the finals, and an additional 12 for winning the championship. So at this point, I think we're realistically looking for teams that can make the round of 16 or the quarterfinals. I think that's where we're at right now as far as setting the bar.
I think US is going to do it. I think they're going to make it.
Yeah, I think they're going to be at least in the round of 16. So I think that could very much
Cut them
happen.
out.
Yeah, that could happen. By the way, I'm desperately hoping with the YouTube channel we don't get a copyright strike from Anthony's horrible warbling of "Proud to be an American."
Oh, come on. You're for it.
Anthony, I'm going to be none too happy if I find out Lee Greenwood has filed a copyright notification on us.
He was a dead ringer. Just like him.
Well, that's the chance you take on this show, obviously. Yeah, you never know.
I'm going to say Lee's listening to that and heard that.
Yeah.
Good for you, Ricky.
Oh, exactly. And moving to the next couple of picks here, Fletcher Morris selects Ecuador and Jason Jones selects Poland. So keeping with that, he's creeping eastward in Europe here, but still keeping the whole European theme going. Team Europe for Jason. And again, they have dominated the World Cup wins for the better part of the 21st century here, so maybe not a bad strategy. That brings it back to you, Anthony, for the end of the third, beginning of the fourth round picks.
So I think I'm going to go with my next pick. I'm going to say Matt's got something for the end. He's been threatening me.
Okay.
Not going to snake him on the end.
All right.
But I'm going to say there's another North American team
Okay.
that I think has a strong shot at doing something great, and that's Mexico.
Oh, okay.
That's not a snake pick from me,
Okay.
but that was one I was considering.
I was about to ask you if they like back bacon, but no, different country. So, okay. I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking. Yes. Of course, you could still go Team SCTV and steer it in that direction with your 4th round pick if you wanted to.
I think I'm going to stay in North America.
Okay.
Just because I can, and Canada's the beginning of it. I'm going to go with Canada.
Okay. All right. Take off, you hoser. Okay.
They haven't looked too bad lately.
They've been getting stronger a lot lately.
Yeah, 2022's been a good year for them in international play. So, they definitely have momentum. You have a team with momentum on your side at this point here. That brings us back around to Jason. He is going to pick Senegal. And for Fletcher Morris, his selection is going to be Serbia. So I know that good friend FDH Lounge dignitary Mike Villy is cheering right now that his beloved Serbia has been taken in the draft. And that brings us back around to you, Matt, your second to last pick of the draft here.
I'm not staying the team that I want on the board at all.
Okay.
Not in it.
Matt really wants to pick a team that's not in it. No. He wanted to pick Italy, and they missed out. They are not in this World Cup.
Right. That's kind of weird that they're not.
It is very weird.
They had a late game that really screwed them, and they missed out on World Cup qualifying. It's a rough one to see, but it's weird that they missed.
It is. It definitely is. And when you look at some of the teams that are in here as well, you look at some of these countries like, wait a minute, they're in, but Italy is not. So that's just kind of weird.
But it's all in how the World Cup process works, and you got to give it to FIFA for running a great process of people getting into the World Cup.
Yeah. Well, no Italy for you, Matt Petrone. So what's it going to be instead?
I'm going to go Switzerland.
Okay.
I don't know much about them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Just looking at this, I don't know.
Well, I think this is entirely fitting, but I'm neutral about your pick, Matt.
You're neutral about your pick.
I hope you didn't choke on a beverage there, Anthony.
I did not, but that's a good belly laugh, and thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for putting it over. Well, next up for me, I'm going with a country that, unfortunately, they've been getting some shells lobbed at their country in recent days. But hey, these players aren't going to be at home, so even if their country gets wiped out, they're going to be okay. South Korea. I will go with them. So,
this guy today.
As we get into a little bit of the geopolitical commentary as well here. I know my friend Mike Villy is going to be very displeased with me as I make my final pick, but I have to go with the highest one on the draft board here, and that is Croatia. So
it's too bad that Ukraine's not in here. You could have made the same comments.
That's right. That's right. That's right. They may not have a country to go back to, but I think they can do good in the tournament. So there is that. Matt, we'll see if your pick here in the 5th round brings up again one of the most controversial lines from the 2018 World Cup draft. I have a sense that it might.
Well, I told Anthony and threatened him not to pick that team because
he's not going to do it. He just told me he's not going to do it.
Okay.
I'm picking the host country. I'm taking Qatar.
He threatened me this whole time, and he's not going to do it.
I know they're short. I know they're tough. But
short but tough. Your line from 2018 on picking Japan, because what was it? You got to be friends with one of the players who played on the University of Akron team?
That was Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica. Okay, all right. I had that scrambled in my head. Okay, so there was no particular reason for Japan. Okay.
They were short and tough.
The Japan pick was just they're short and tough.
And
threatened me the entire time over it.
As far as Qatar in the 5th round, what an underdog feel-good story that would be, huh? Just kidding. Blood money. They killed thousands of migrants to build these stadiums. All this stuff, allegedly. So, whatever. But, they
allegedly.
Yes.
And, okay, Anthony and I did do some research, and we did kind of listen to some other people's podcasts and what their thoughts were and this and that. I'm not going to lie. I did some research.
Okay.
And some of the players that this guy was talking about from Qatar, they sound really good. And think they might have a chance.
Okay.
Although I did ask, when was the last time a host city won? And I haven't found that answer out yet. I haven't looked that up.
Okay.
And
I do got to say, in his defense, Group A is probably the easiest grouping of the entire World Cup.
Okay.
So you're looking at Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands.
Okay.
It sounds tough. 3 of those 4 teams have been picked. But if you look at it truly, they are the easiest group in the World Cup.
Well, and looking at this here, I'm looking on Wikipedia, and you go back a ways, but interestingly enough, it hasn't happened since 1978, but it happened in 78 and 74. In 78, it happened with Argentina, and in 74, it happened with the then West Germany. And looking back for the 66, wow, the only time England won was in England. Apparently, see, they need that home cooking. That's why they haven't won before or since. Evidently, if they don't have the home crowds on their side, they can't do shiznit. Uruguay in the first World Cup in 1930, so it doesn't happen too many times.
I'm also thinking, okay, that's why I said, you know what? It's about time for somebody to do it again. And from what this guy was saying, I was kind of impressed with the numbers that I heard.
Yeah.
And they have went out and physically bought players.
Yes. And
for this World Cup.
They have physically trained players since they were 12 years old for this World Cup.
Buying people in countries like that? White slavery.
But, that's never going to happen.
Yeah. So,
allegedly. Nothing.
Allegedly. There's a lot of
allegedly.
It's all allegedly, man.
There's a lot of allegedlys you got to put in there with Qatar, but okay.
There's also the players from there are used to that heat. Home field advantage might take advantage for them because the rest of the world. What are they saying? That's why they're doing the World Cup this late in the year is because it's the heat there.
That's true.
So that might take advantage for them because they're used to it. They're used to playing in it where nobody else is.
Again, and it's going to be a little bit kind of, by playing at this time of year, that's not going to be as big of a factor. But yeah, it'll still be a big factor. I mean, I don't think there's a time of the year when you go there and you're having to put on your parka. So, yeah, I think that's going to come into play to some degree. But Qatar, Qatar, the exception to the rule that every underdog has to be a feel-good story. But that is your selection here. Fletcher Morris's final selection is Morocco. Jason Jones picks Japan. Probably off of your small but deadly, very insensitive line that you used previously. So this brings it to Anthony.
He's not going back to the board to look because he was going to say, screw it, I'm taking that one.
Yeah, well, it ends up
drown people.
In the NFL draft, it ends up being, at the very end, they call it the Mr. Irrelevant pick. So this would be the country irrelevant pick here.
This fits. After looking at the board and figuring it, this fits. The country irrelevant would be Iran. Yes.
Okay.
And you didn't even use a capital letter for the name of their country on your board.
Really?
Only one you didn't use a capital letter.
That's right. I'm looking at this now. Yeah, well, that's what I think of them, basically.
They pit for irrelevant country, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. I'm going to say, I agree with Anthony just on that. He might get it just because of that.
Can we give you the Iron Sheik as their flag bearer? USA!
Yes!
Do it!
Yes!
That would be incredible. So, in looking at this here, the rosters of teams, I have Argentina, Uruguay, Denmark, South Korea, and Croatia. For Matt Petrone, it's Brazil, Portugal, the USA, Switzerland, and Qatar. For Fletcher Morris, our guest picker, it is Germany, England, Ecuador, Serbia, and Morocco. For Jason Jones, it's France, Spain, Poland, Senegal, and Japan. For Anthony Petrone, Belgium, the Netherlands, Mexico, Canada, Iran. This looks like it's going to be very competitive. I'll start with you, Anthony. Your thoughts on all of the different rosters assembled?
Really, I think there's some tough rosters.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see who gets what. Jason and I are no longer friends because he took Japan ahead of me. But other than that, I look forward to a lot of fun.
It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of. This is why you want to get in one of these things here. It gives you a little something extra when you're watching the games here, something to root for your own team here. And Matt, your thoughts on this on the rosters assembled?
Again, it was a rough decision on a lot of it. And it's hard to say because, as they say, okay, I'm going to use an NFL term here, any given Sunday.
Right.
Anybody can beat anybody.
Right.
Who's going to be that Cinderella story?
Mm-hmm.
So it could happen to, if I look back, I can honestly say I wish I could have had different picks on some of it, but
Okay.
I don't want to change it,
Okay.
and I won't. I'm happy with my picks. I think it's going to be tough, and you're right. It does make watching the World Cup a lot more fun when you're involved with something like this, that maybe one of these days that you open the FDH Lounge and everybody that listens to the FDH Lounge can get involved with.
Yes, everybody should. If you're going to watch this, if you have any interest, and again, unlike you guys, my nephew Fletcher and Jason, I'm not the biggest soccer guy in the world, but I'll be watching just to see what my teams can do. We will have some smack talk going back and forth throughout this thing, which always makes it fun. So appreciate getting to do this here with you guys. Anthony and Matt Petrone, once again, also not only FDH Lounge dignitaries, but once again also the purveyors of the unheard scene coming back in 2023, out there featuring unsigned music bands everywhere. So, gentlemen, a pleasure to have you both on for this.
My final thought, I appreciate you, Ricky. Thank you for having us on.
Okay.
I continue loving doing the drafts with you. It is a lot of fun, and maybe one day we do the band draft again.
We could always revisit that, definitely. And we are not too far out, about 2 months down the road from where we tape this from the next anniversary show for the Lounge also, too. So I have some fun thoughts on that for some things we can do. So we'll get into all that and much, much more subsequently here. So thank you guys for being a part of this, as well as our guest picker, Fletcher Morris, and our senior editor, Jason Jones.
Love you, Ricky.
Thanks,
I
bud.
said, love the show, Ricky.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Love the show.
And thank you, guys. And thank you, everybody, for tuning into this mini episode of the FDH Lounge.